So as you probably know, I ran a building company for 10 years. We were doing about €1 million worth of business every single year. And one of the biggest things that you need to be very careful of is people just wasting your time, messers contacting you. It's just ridiculous. You need to be very careful, but at the same time you need to get in contact with people to get new business, right? But one simple trick that you need to do is, if somebody is ringing you looking for a quote for a job, right, it's ridiculous. These guys can just ring you out of nowhere and expect you to leave your job, travel to them, all at no cost to them, do up a written spec quotation. You might even be paying people for it, right? And then you go back and you give them the quotation, and then they say, no, we don't want to give the job, right? So what you need to do is you need to eliminate the message from the very start as quick as possible, right? And the way to do that is to talk to them onto the phone, spend maybe another... You don't mind spending a few minutes on the phone at the start, but when you're driving out to them, it's a different story, right? So, first thing we need to do, somebody rings you, how's it going, Joe? I'm looking to get an extension done, looking to get a bathroom done, looking to get a kitchen done, whatever it is, makes no difference. No problem at all. Can we talk through some details now? What are you looking for? Ask them a little bit of info, right? Then you tell them, listen, the cost for that price is roughly between 10 grand and 15 grand, 10 grand and 12 grand, 50 grand and 60 grand, whatever, right? And you say to them, would you like me to call out you? Is that price in your ballpark, right? Because straight away you'll weed out people there that say, oh, well, let me think about it, or whatever else, right? So they'll say to you, yeah, look, come on out then. The next thing you need to ask them at that point in time is, say, look, I can go out to you and I can do two things. I can give you a written quotation while I'm there on the spot, or if you need a printed quotation, let's say it's for a bank or a credit union, it's going to take me a few days to get to that for you, right? So which one do you need? Do you need a written one, or do you need a printed one? Now that's the question you're asking them, but really what you're saying to them is, do you have the money to do this job now, or are you going off trying to borrow the money? Because if they're going borrowing the money, chances are they may not even be able to get the money. So again, you don't need to put that in terms of priority on your list, right? So let's just say they need a printed quotation. Okay, so you know now they're borrowing the money and they don't have the money to do the job, right? The next question that you need to ask them then is, okay, well look, when I go out, I've a couple of different things I can do. I can give you the quotation, that won't cost you anything at all, or I can do you up a full detailed schedule of works and the materials that's required as well. Would you like me to do that for you? The only thing is, if I have to do that for you, it's going to cost you €300. Now the advantage to you paying me €300, that's that I can leave that document with you, which means when you're going off the price of other people, you see the exact list of works and you can hand that to them. So rather than you waiting for them to come back with a quote and there's different pieces missing off it, you can hand that to them. So it means they're pricing the same thing as what you're pricing. Now really, when you're saying that to them, you're asking them, are you going to be going around pricing off somebody else, right? So in the first part of the conversation, you've figured out whether they're borrowing the money or whether they have the money in the bank. The second part of the conversation is you're figuring out whether they're ringing you exclusively to do the job, or whether they're ringing you as a part of 3 or 4 or 5 people to do the job, right? So you've nailed that down. The next thing we need to ask is, so when are you thinking to get the job done? Because, and this is all on the phone, because we're booked out for the next 6 to 8 weeks, you know, and always tell them that you're booked out for a little bit longer, right? You know, we're booked out for the next 6, 8, 12 weeks unless we get a cancellation. Why? When are you thinking? Oh, well, to be honest, I'm not really thinking of getting this job done till after Christmas anyways. Okay, so straight away now, this person has rang you, telling you they're eager to get a job done, but before you go off the phone, you know they don't have the money. You're one of 3 or 4 or 5 people that they're pricing around to get the job done, and plus they're not even getting it done till after Christmas or after the summer or whatever the case may be, right? Sounds to me that these people could be messers, you know. And then you also say to them, so where did you get my number? Oh, I got your number off Mary up the road, or whatever the name is. You done a job for her, it was great. Okay, now listen, that's grand. I always like to find out where the job's coming from, you know. I have to say thanks to the people. So listen, I'll give you a shout back and I'll call out you Friday, or else we can set out whatever you have to do. You can decide whether to go out to them or not, right? You hang up the phone and you ring Mary up the road, who you done the job for, who referred you on to these people, right? And you say, how's it going, Mary? Listen, I'll just ring you to say thanks, because I'm after getting a phone call for a job off a woman down the road. She said you recommended her. She'll say to you, don't mind her, she's a fucking headbanger. Every time I'm getting something done, every time there's anybody getting any work done on the road, she's out and she's saying she wants to get it done, but she never gets anything done. Or she might say to you, actually, she's a lovely woman, she's a good friend of mine, I told her to get the job done. To be honest, she'll probably give you the job no matter what, because she sees the good work you've done down here. Okay, thank you very much for that, Mary up the road. So you hang up the phone. Now you know time frame, when they want to get it done. Do they have the budget? Are they pricing around? Are you the man for the job? And you also know how strong the recommendation is, right? Now if they say they want to get the schedule of works done at 300 quid, You take the €300 payment off them over the phone before you even go out there, and then when you do the job, you give them the discount of the €300, which means they're not going to loss it. But all the time you're qualifying these people. You're trying to separate the people who seriously want you to do the job at your price, and the people who's just going to be going around kicking tires, messing you about, wasting your time. Because as you know, I'm always telling people, don't be shopping for price, because that's when you get most of the hassle. But if you were to have that conversation in maybe 5, 6, 7, say 15 minutes every time you get a call for a job, rather than just literally bolting out the door to them, that's a different story, right? Now let's just say they tick all the right boxes and you have the quotation done for them. Never email the quotation back to them, or never post the quotation back to them. You ring them, how's it going? I have the quotation here. I want to set up an appointment to go back out and review you. So what I know most builders do, most builders will run out for the quote straight away. And look, I was in that business for years. I'm gone out of it now, so I know exactly what they do. Most people will run out straight away, spend all the time front loaded, and then just email the quotation off. Whereas what we done was, we qualified them at the start. We only went out to them if we were really going to get the job, right? Then when we stood, we were going to get when we were sure that we were going to get the job, then we start putting more and more effort in. So we drove back out to them to review the quotation, had them sign the quotation on the day, agree start date, everything else, because you've been building rapport with them over the last while, you know. And that's what most people won't do. But the main thing is, avoid time wasters, because they will break your business. They will break your business by taking you away. You're the key man in your business. They take you away, spending your time doing stuff that's not going to result in any income for the business at all whatsoever. Okay, take it easy guys, talk to you soon.